Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show. Welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million people, including 2 million across America. Today we are in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn is one of the largest of the 5 boroughs in New York City. Viewers, you'll be interested to note the Dr. VGP Talk Show received an email from a young African-American woman from Brooklyn Borough in New York. The email read, "Will you, Dr. VGP, feature me in your Dr. VGP Talk Show? I am a young entrepreneur from Brooklyn, and I've been watching your Dr. VGP Talk Show and receiving the Global Eye Digital magazine, which you publish." Our editorial team read the email over and over again, contacted this young person who is a fashion model for 6 years, a successful realtor today, and who has been born and grown up in Brooklyn, in New York. And yes, today we are here in Brooklyn to feature the 29-year-old young, intelligent African-American woman of independent thought, and a person who's ambitious, I would say super ambitious, whose proven success has met a lot of challenges and conquered them, and she's still rising in her quest for success. She wants to make a change in today's world. She wants to contribute to peace and nonviolence. She wants to be an entrepreneur par excellence. Meet 29-year-old RAMIYA CATTEN from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome, RAMIYA CATTEN, to Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million households, including 2 million across the United States of America.
Good evening, Dr. VGP. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for accepting my request. We definitely appreciate it. Myself, Brooklyn, and New York State. We're so happy to be here.
And so are we. RAMIYA CATTEN, when you sent us your request to be featured in Dr. VGP show, your letter to us, your email to us was very appealing. You said, would you feature a 29-year-old young African-American woman growing up in Brooklyn and wanting to reach for the stars on your talk show? Our editorial team looked it over, called you, and so here we are in Brooklyn today on a lovely beginning of the spring day. Tell us, RAMIYA, about your growing up years and your childhood in Brooklyn.
My childhood in Brooklyn was very special. It's very family orientated. I have a big family and we're very close knit. My grandmothers lived in the same place for 52 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the entire neighborhood is literally our family. So growing up in Brooklyn was wonderful for me. It was amazing.
Good. You know, growing up, who was your favorite author as a child? What did you read?
As a child, I used to get in trouble for reading a lot of the stuff that I read. I would read Robert Greene. at a very early age. So imagine your mom comes in the room and you're in the 3rd grade and you're reading The Art of Seduction.
Wow, my God, incredible.
Like, why are you reading this? So yeah, The Art of Seduction and The 48 Laws of Power, 2 books that completely changed my life.
At grade 3, you were 8 years old, Ramya.
Yes.
And would you say, would that be typical for a Brooklyn girl?
I believe so. I believe that is not the brand that they give us, but we are all intelligent. We are very smart women here because we're all like community based. Brooklyn is a very community driven place.
That's so interesting and intriguing to learn that you could. Grade 3, RAMIYA CATTEN, folks, is reading Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction. Now, have you learned something from the book? Did you use that to rise to where you are as a top fashion model and realtor? Tell us.
I more so use the 48 Laws of Power. That book has definitely helped me navigate through life more than The Art of Seduction. I actually do pride myself on using more of this than this.
Exactly. So it's brains versus beauty.
Brains versus beauty, but it's so much better to have both. Definitely.
Good. You're today a successful realtor.
Yes.
But for the last 6 years, you were a fashion model.
Yes.
Tell us about how the fashion and modeling industry is.
It was very complex for me. I was navigating such a tough industry at a very young age. So yeah, I was very kind of naive to a lot of things. So that is where I'll leave that. I was definitely not prepared for the entertainment industry as a whole. More business driven than.
Good. In spite of reading at grade 3, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, you're still living. Brains is more than beauty.
Yeah, it would be so uncomfortable.
You know, you heard of the couch experience in Hollywood and Bollywood and the fashion industry. Did you experience any of the couch experience?
There was one particular photo shoot that I went to and I was very, very uncomfortable. I come from love, and so I know my worth. And so being put in certain situations, I felt like I was worth way more. So I'm grateful for that I was able to make that choice. But yeah, it's a very tough industry, especially with the couch situation. I don't like that it's like an unspoken known. I don't, support.
You have done the spoken word.
Yes.
And today I think all girls, irrespective of the race, should listen to this and hear that. And my question is, were you promiscuous during your growing up, your teenage years?
Very. I had fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, especially as a teenager. But I do, as I got older, I do feel as if it came from a place of trauma and that I needed to heal, and I was trying to find an outlet. And I believe that's why I was so promiscuous. But I do believe in female empowerment and, living free and doing whatever you choose with your body, as long as you are respecting yourself, as long as you are happy and healthy. I do not believe in the double standards. So yeah, being promiscuous at a young age, it was definitely from a place of trauma. But as a grown woman, I'm pretty free.
Great. You've said yourself very well. And I think that's what all experience in the teenage years. And you're also exploring your different faiths. Absolutely. You have showed a great interest in Buddhism. So share that with us. What has made Buddhism something that you're trying to learn about?
Yes.
And how that has helped you in your journey today?
Okay, perfect. I am studying multiple religions.
Interesting.
Multiple. I am investigating. Well, I'll say that. I'm investigating God.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I believe in God. But my favorite thing about Buddhism is that it teaches you to go within. It teaches you that you are God and God is within you. And I believe that. I am part.
Can you repeat that again?
You are God and God is within you.
Wow. And that's what Buddhism, basic tenet of the Buddhism faith.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you know that Gautam Buddha was born in Bodh Gaya in India?
No.
And your name, RAMIYA CATTEN, RAMIYA first name, is a very Indian name.
I hear that.
How did that come about? No, tell us.
I don't know the meaning.
Okay. Did your mother or dad, who named you?
My mom named me, and I'll be so honest. She was going to name me Tamia.
Tamia.
Tamia was going
Okay.
to be the name, and she said that my father would not budge. He wanted an R. Ricky Caldwell, God bless his soul.
Okay.
And so that's how RAMIYA came about. It was going to be Tamia, and she took the T and made an R.
Wow.
So I think she understood
what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
But now to have that, seeing you're having a philosophical relationship with Buddhism and trying to experience that faith, it's very interesting.
Very.
And you raised a very interesting point about inner peace and the soul.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think that mental health and positive thinking will help reduce the violence? You know, Brooklyn's borough, one of the largest boroughs of the 5 boroughs in New York City,
Absolutely.
is known traditionally for associated with violence and poverty.
Yes.
And what do you think? What do you think are the challenges, and how is that being reflected in today's society?
I'm a person that believes that violence comes from pain. So that's why mental health is definitely important in peace, because what people are feeling inside, they are going to exert into their community. So I think if everyone was happier, the world would be so much peaceful.
Great. You said it. Violence comes from pain.
It comes
And if everybody are happier, the world will be a much better place.
Yes.
Now tell us, how can we reduce violence, not only in Brooklyn, you know, it's happening across America and the rest of the world. What is it as a young professional woman, you who has grown up in Brooklyn, feel one can do, or what should be done, or what's being done now?
Scoot up, because I feel like this is very important. You guys should focus on the youth. I think that we need to give our youth more outlets. I think that we should listen to them more. I think that the way everything is set up, especially like with classrooms and one teacher to 30 kids, everything is so overcrowded that, you know, kids as individuals, they don't get to have that time to express themselves and to grow into who they are. So it becomes confusion and pain, and I think we should focus on the youth.
Now, you as a social responsibility person, what will you personally do in your own realm to help address the issues in your way, to try to reduce violence, which can be implicated across America and other parts of the world?
Personally, my take is I do a lot of community outreach to the children. I do prom giveaways, things of that nature, where I help kids find outlets. We do like fun days where we'll have like a yoga day in the park.
Wow, interesting.
Yes, and it's free for everyone to come, and things of that nature, toy drives, book bag giveaways, things like that. So like the community can come together, have fun, party, eat, you know, just have a good time. That's the approach that I'm taking. I am trying to affect one person at a time, and I believe that it'll have a domino effect. So if I can show one kid that, you know, sometimes when you're angry and you can just meditate or think or breathe, they'll pass those things on to other people to have a domino effect.
Interestingly, you've said all the things which we are trying to do in Inglewood with the Gandhi King Institute for Nonviolence.
I love
meditation, yoga, and stuff like that. And we're trying to get it off the ground, trying to engage the community, have civic engagement, accept us. It's a challenge. Like everybody resists change, but we're working on it. I'm so happy to hear from you that you're doing that in Brooklyn.
And that's exactly why I reached out to you guys, because I already knew of what you guys were doing, and I definitely support it. I think that you guys should just keep going.
Great.
And you'll be super big.
Wow, it's really good. Now, you know, Brooklyn was known as the manufacturing hub in 1900s.
Yes.
Okay. It was very packed. And today, Brooklyn is the growing Manhattan. How will you describe Brooklyn today?
I would describe Brooklyn very gentrified. Gentrification. That's how I would describe Brooklyn. It is definitely the new powerhouse of New York. Everyone is migrating to Brooklyn from all boroughs and states. We are getting a lot more construction and high rises in downtown Brooklyn area. It's, you know, coming up. So I would say gentrification is how I would describe the new Brooklyn.
You know, the new Dumbo area, do you think that has increased the standard of living in Brooklyn? Explain to our viewers what is the new Dumbo area and what's happening today in Brooklyn. You said that businesses and people are moving from Manhattan to
Yes,
Brooklyn.
to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And Dumbo is closer to Manhattan. It's right at the bridge. Sorry, guys. It's right at the bridge. I think that the Dumbo area is becoming commercialized. They're pushing out the residents. It's creating higher cost everywhere else in Brooklyn. So while
Is it increasing the real estate value? Is it what you're saying is, do you feel that some intruders are coming and taking over
I love
Brooklyn?
that word.
And-
We're being intruded. Brooklyn is being intruded, and it's not fair because the residents that are already here, they're not giving higher pay rates. Things that would correlate with the community in Brooklyn just being more expensive. Yeah,
You think there's a corporate takeover coming in the Dumbo area?
absolutely.
But on the positive side of it, Brooklyn has given birth to the current mayor of New York
Mr. Eric Adams,
and also the previous mayor.
Mr. de Blasio.
So that's why you refer to it as a powerhouse
Of course.
of New York.
Of course.
Do you have any ambitions to run for elected office?
I do not.
Okay, good.
I do not. I would like to stay out of politics.
Good to hear that. And you are in the fashion, model industry, real estate. Brooklyn is also known as a very significant arts center. The Berkeley Arts Center is there.
Yes.
And then you have the cherry blossom.
Yes.
Buried in the
Botanical
Brooklyn
Garden.
Yeah.
Season for that, you
Wow,
guys.
okay.
So yes, if you visit Brooklyn right now, there'll be rows of like baby cherry blossoms everywhere. It's really pink and pretty here right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we're
there is a baby pink side to
Yes,
Brooklyn. Apart from the
definitely.
violence, now the corporate growth, the transforming,
Beautiful here.
it's really great.
And I'll say that too about the violence. It's gone down in Brooklyn with the gentrification, I would say.
So that's had a positive effect of
Yes,
gentrification.
the violence,
Oh,
definitely.
that's really good to know.
Yes.
And I think that's something which we can replicate in other areas of the country.
Absolutely. But also, while we're gentrifying these areas and we're bringing down the violence, we should definitely consider the tenants that's already been here.
Residents,
The
lifelong
residents,
residents.
literally the lifelong residents that's been here, and help them improve life as well. So we're going to improve everything around them, bring them up with us as we're gentrifying their home.
Great. You also had a stint in trying to help a reality show with VHS1
Yes.
in Chicago.
Yes.
And you spent some time assisting that. Tell us about that.
It was a very interesting experience. That was also when I decided that I needed to only do things that I was passionate about. That you can take on roles to acquire power, but are you going to be happy?
As a millennial professional that you are, where do you see America heading today?
Sadly, I see America going into a recession. Yes, I do. With AI, artificial intelligence, with our current president's administration and the way he's handling our money, I do feel like the pandemic was supposed to balance everything out a little bit. I just don't see it.
So you're telling us, young 29-year-old RAMIYA CATTEN is telling us that America is heading into recession,
Yeah.
guys. And she's from Brooklyn. You're a successful realtor.
Yes.
And why? And are you trying to tell our viewers that the Biden-Harris administration is responsible for that, or they're not doing enough? What is your take on that?
I don't want to put it solely on them, but I do not think that they're helping currently. I think that it was like an ongoing problem, and it's like, instead of halting the issue, I think they're helping it go along a little
By
bit
giving out
faster.
handouts.
By just putting all our money out. We need
So
to.
what would you suggest? You want them to have entrepreneurs, create people to have self-ownerships of the program, self-determination, instead of
Yes.
instead of getting into that cycle of handouts, right?
Yes.
That's what you're trying to
When
get
you
at?
are on an airplane,
Mhm.
they tell you, in case of an emergency, you have to put your oxygen mask on first.
Absolutely.
And then you help the next person. And so I don't think that they're taking that approach. we have no oxygen. We're not putting on our own mask, and we're just helping and helping and helping. And I have no issues with helping, especially when it's needed. But you have to take care of home first. Absolutely, I believe that.
You have said something very profoundly, that today each one in America has to take care of themselves first. You put the oxygen mask first,
Yes.
and then you help others. You have no hang-ups in helping others,
No.
but help yourself. And you think, in your opinion, the Biden-Harris administration is not doing that?
No, I don't.
Okay. What do you think of the previous? That leads us to what New York was hitting the news recently, all about President Trump, the former president's arrest, the charges against him. What do you think? Did Trump do something different in his 4 years as president?
I think that I will put out a disclaimer that I do not support anything personal of Mr. Trump's decisions. I don't support that. But as far as his business, I do think he strengthened the economy for America. I do. I think he made it better in those 4 years. He did.
Okay. So you're trying to make a clear-cut division between his professional leadership of America and his personal life, which is now engaging the media and the news.
Exactly.
And they're two separate things.
Two separate things.
Okay. So what would you think are the strengths of President Trump?
That he is more in-house. He's more about building up America. He wants to stop being so dependent on other countries for our necessities. Yeah, he's very straightforward also. I really like that about him, that he was very clean cut. Like, this is what we need to do to become more powerful as a country. And I believe that we should be the most powerful. We're America.
So here, RAMIYA CATTEN feels that Trump's bold, straightforward approaches is what America needs.
Absolutely.
And do you think that his 4 years in presidency and his handling of the COVID pandemic was the right way to go about it?
That is very complex. I don't think the way that he talked down, for lack of a better term, I don't like the way that he spoke about people from China. I don't agree with that. But I do think that if there is an issue coming from a certain place, that it shouldn't be tiptoed around. So yeah, I agree and I disagree. I agree and I disagree. I think that he was very harsh at some points and a little over exaggerated maybe, but I do feel like every point that he was making was valid for our country. I do.
So if Donald Trump stands for re-election in 2024, would you support him? Would you vote for him?
I would support him if I don't get someone better than Biden.
Well, that's that. On that note, now, if you're given an opportunity to take 3 people out for dinner, living or in the past, who would those 3 people be?
3 people for dinner. Wow, interesting. I would take Mr. Napoleon Hill, who is an author, more so a self-help author. I would take global pop star Rihanna.
Wow. Her name starts with R too.
Yes, and it's Rihanna.
Yeah.
So pop star Rihanna, because she is like the face of being an entrepreneur in America right now, and a billionaire, Black woman, young, independent, like she's the dream. And Mr. Malcolm X.
Very interesting.
Yes, those are the.
He's a revolutionary, progressive Black leader of the yesteryears. And we have a Malcolm X College in Chicago, RAMIYA. You must come down and visit us. You should come and sing. It's interesting. If RAMIYA is to take 3 people of her choice to dinner, we have Napoleon Hill, who's an excellent author. And then we have Rihanna, who's the dream star today. Would you like to be like Rihanna's shoes?
Of course.
Okay. And of course, Malcolm X is a very revered, revolutionary African-American leader. We have a college, community college named after him.
And I feel like that's one of the things that's missing in the Black community today, is we don't have a strong leader like Mr. Malcolm X.
RAMIYA, in today's talk show, you have come out as a young, intelligent, progressive woman with an independent mind, and where we can all see, and the viewers, that the mind, the brain is much powerful over the beauty from what you talked and we interacted in the short time you were here. And thank you for having us over.
Thank you.
Now, I would describe you as a young Brooklyn woman of substance. How will you describe yourself in 3 words to all the Global Eye viewers today?
Myself in 3 words.
3 adjectives you can use to describe you.
I'm ambitious.
Good.
Very ambitious. I am resilient. Things don't always go my way. Things get rough, but I never give up. Resilient. And I'm very passionate. I need to feel things within my soul to give myself 100%. So anything that I do, I'm passionate about it. I think that's the way to live.
RAMIYA CATTEN, if you describe her in her own words, she's ambitious, very ambitious. She's resilient. She's tough. She says life is not a bed of roses, guys. And then she's she don't give up. Beautiful. And she's very passionate. The way you got us to come down here to Brooklyn.
My passion.
Yes, exactly. And you were persistent. You were explaining why. Why can't I, RAMIYA CATTEN from Brooklyn, be featured on Dr. VGP Talk Show? Absolutely. I have so much to offer and share my message. RAMIYA, thank you for reaching out to us.
Thank you so much.
That brought us here. And you brought so much different. We touched different topics. It was so wonderful having you on our show, and you brought so much, and you're going to be more often with us. We're going to see how we can get you across America and across the world, because this is what America needs, friends, today. A woman with passion, a woman with substance, a woman who can talk boldly and honestly about her past, her present, and her future.
Yes.
Now, where would you see yourself, RAMIYA CATTEN, in 5 years from now?
5 years. My main 5-year goal right now is my own brokerage.
Oh.
RAMIYA Realty.
Wow.
Yeah. I hope that that's a powerhouse in 5 years. That is my main goal.
Guys, you just met an ambitious, a super ambitious RAMIYA CATTEN. You've seen her views. She wants to have her own brokerage as RAMIYA Reality. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so
and I'm sure
much, Dr.
with your
VGP.
resilience and with your passionate zeal, you're going to make it.
Thank you.
And I love the way you outlook, love how you pursued us and how we brought us to Brooklyn. We never imagined that we'll be here today in Brooklyn talking to you.
We welcome
a young, amazing star in the making.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what is your parting message to our viewers? What would you like to tell all the 42 million viewers who are watching you today? And what has life, or whatever you want to give our viewers? Now, this is your spot. This is your time, RAMIYA CATTEN.
So I'm going to represent from my borough, and I'm going to say our famous line, spread love, because it's the Brooklyn way.
Well, RAMIYA, you said it. Spread love.
It's the Brooklyn way.
Repeat it again.
Spread love, because it's the Brooklyn way.
Thank you so much, RAMIYA, for joining us,
for having
us
Dr.
in Brooklyn.
VGP.
It looks it looks amazing, and we wish you all success for RAMIYA Reality and your journey ahead.
Have a great one. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Spread love,
because it's the Brooklyn way.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Love. Bye.